4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey guys, and welcome to a new video. This is the first one in a while, to be quite honest with you, and the reason for that is I spent a week in Kent catching up with family and such, as I haven't seen them since Easter. On top of that, I had 3 different university projects to catch up with, just to sort of ensure that I could go back to university for my 3rd and final year, so obviously I had to prioritise that, and then the last week I've just sort of been catching up with everything else. So without further ado, welcome to another Hack Galore, where I talk about the most recent unusual unboxes and just the best stuff within trading in TF2 in general. As you know, it's been a couple of weeks, so there have bound to have been some good unboxes. One of those was the Burning Flames Hong Kong Cone, unboxed by Purplicious. This is the same guy that unboxed the Burning Flames Dread Hiding Hood, so he has some unbelievable luck, and since then he's actually unboxed a Circling Hearts Metal Slug, and I think even a Purple Energy Stormin' Norman, so definitely a very lucky unboxer. And this actually sold for a Sunbeams No Mercy and 20 buds, and it sold to none other than myself, and I know it might seem a little bit overpriced and why I paid that much, but I've literally been waiting to buy a sort of god tier all class unusual for so long, but they always seem to just get like snatched at the last minute by someone else. Usually the case that someone's offered something good and they're just trying to force the seller to take it. I did actually post a little Steam announcement about it, but here's how it looks in game, and I'm really happy with it. And I've said to people that I'm just hoping they re-release the Halloween footprint spells, because I think it would be awesome if when I run I sort of leave footprints of burning flames behind. I think that would just go really awesome with the hat, especially on a scout. But that's enough of the Burning Hong Kong Cone. Let's move on to some of the other hats this week. ISO Man struck gold once again by unboxing the very first Burning Flames War Pig. It was sold to a TF2 Outpost admin for an undisclosed amount of cash, so no one knows exactly what it went for, thus why there's no price on backpack.tf yet, though definitely one of the highest tier soldier unusuals in the game at the moment. And it's kind of interesting because this guy is the same person that unboxed the Burning Flames Polar Pullover and other hats such as the Sunbeams Brainiac, the Purple Energy Bonk Boy, so this guy does have some insane luck. And to give you a rough idea of what the War Pig might be worth, I believe the Sunbeams one sold for around 47 buds, and you know, most people would argue Burning Flames is a higher tier effect, so it'd be interesting to see if this ever gets resold or if another one gets unboxed, and that's about all I can say for this one. Essentially, Funky unboxed the very first Burning Flames Valley Forge, and it sold for just an Aces High Antlers, which is kind of a tough one because obviously the idea of a Burning Flames hat selling for an Aces High one just sounds wrong in general, but the antlers are all class, and as far as I'm aware they are a misc now as well, I think, so it's also worth mentioning that the guy that has it on Outpost now took an offer of a Scorching Flames Killer's Kabuto, so it is a very difficult one to judge. And I'd be very curious to know what you guys think. Please do leave a comment and let me know your opinions. I'll definitely read them and reply to a good few. And yeah, on to the next one. Mr. Mundy managed to unbox a Purple Energy Crone's Dome, and he's asking for 80 earbuds or 100 buds in unusuals, and this is a hat which was last priced and sold for 53 earbuds, so it'll be interesting to see if he does manage to get anything close to the 80 mark that he's asking for. The guy that last bought it was also the guy that last bought the Burning Flames Crone's Dome, which there was a lot of drama behind, but I find it quite interesting, and yeah, I'm definitely curious to see what kind of amount this hat's going to go for. The very first Scorching Flames Nun Hood was unboxed, and the guy put it on Outpost but took it down a few hours later. I imagine he decided to keep it because he's already changed his name to Super Medinun. I guess he's just enjoying the hat and wants to hold on to it for a bit longer, though I am really curious to see what this sells for eventually, because the Circling Peace Sign one sold for 7 buds pure a few months back, and you know, you can only assume that a Scorching Flames one would fetch a whole lot more. So definitely congrats to you, Super Medinun, on the unbox, and I hope we get to see this put back on Outpost soon enough. The first Scorching Flames ground control was unboxed. It was only recently that I found out this was even available in unusual, but the guy's already been offered an Arcana Bonkboy, which is pretty high tier, as well as an offer of 21 pure buds, and the guy's promised to collect that for the hat. And yeah, a Burning Flames one of these got unboxed this week as well, but the guy's not put it on Outpost. But I just thought that was quite interesting, the fact that 2 very high tier effects of the same hat was unboxed, and that seems to be a repeating pattern in these Hack Galore videos, as I'm sure a lot of you have noticed. But yeah, very nicely done on the unbox. The second ever Sunbeams Voodoo Juju was unboxed, and he's asking for 14.5 buds, which is just half a bud less than the other person on Outpost. I always find it kind of funny to see people undercut each other. Sometimes it's obvious, sometimes it's not, but definitely a good hat, and I think it was last priced at 9 buds on backpack.tf, but there isn't actually any price suggestion to be seen, so I found that quite interesting as well. And there are now 2 Burning Flames, one of these, 2 Scorching Flames and 2 Sunbeams, so yeah, that's obviously averaging out pretty evenly. It's just a shame they couldn't do that for hats such as the Kiss King, which I think has 3 Burning Flames versions of it in the game now, and only 1 Sunbeams, and I don't think a Scorching one exists yet, but yeah. Another very hyped hat this week was the Sunbeams Dark Falkirk helm, which has already been offered a Burning Flames Anger and a Cloud9 Pampered Pyro, which is something over 20 buds, so definitely a really good offer, and I wouldn't be surprised if he takes that, though he has had this hat up on Outpost for 2 weeks, so maybe he's looking for higher offers, I don't know, but definitely a good looking hat, and yeah, a lot of hype to it. Cherry managed to get the first Burning Flames Carribean Conqueror, and he's already been offered 13 buds pure, but I have seen many offers on the trade of over 15 buds, and I didn't realise this hat was going to be that high tier. I'm not too familiar with other sales of different effects, but definitely a very high tier unbox, and congrats to you. Apparently the Sunbeams version sold for 25 buds in unusuals, and I would say that, you know, when a high tier first in effect appears on a hat for the first time, that tends to have a lot more hype than the next ones that come into the game, but it'd be interesting to see whether the Burning Flames one fetches more than 25. I can imagine it being possible, but looking at the offers he's had on this trade, it looks like it's going to get something below 20 if I'm honest. Dr. Gibbison managed to unbox a Haunted Ghost Ninja Hood, and he asked for 21 buds, and he ended up getting 17 mixed, which isn't too bad considering Purple Energy sold for 20 buds not too long ago. And he ended up taking about 5 different unusuals, not all first in effects, but definitely worked out around 17ish. So pretty good trade, and it gives me promise that maybe a Sunbeams one will be in the game soon. As most of you know, that's a hat that I've been after for a while, though my cravings for it have gone down slightly since getting the Hong Kong cone, so I'm very happy with that. And that's about all the hats I'm going to mention directly in this hat galore, though I will leave some on screen now for you guys to see. It's going to be a moving wall of text because there have been so many in my absence, so I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I am going to be doing a few other videos later on this week, one of which being a Q&A, which I was supposed to do before I left, and I think another being a live commentary. I've been meaning to get into the live commentary business of things, and I did that Killing to Unbox, which went fairly well. Talking of that video, I still need to give away the specialised backscatter kits. I have locked the thread discussion on my Steam group, which allow people to enter just from leaving a comment, but to make up for doing that so late, I'm probably going to give away a bunch of professional killstreak weapons, so there will be a lot more of you that could possibly win if you entered that. And I've actually hit 10k members in my Steam group recently, so I think to celebrate that I might do an unusual giveaway within the Steam group. But just keep your ears posted, I was about to say, but just keep an eye out for future videos where that might be something that I explain or mention. And yeah, cheers for watching once again, guys. I will see you next time. Bye.